questions and concerns we've had than ever before, but it doesn't mean that we're done with questions and concerns. So I just appreciate your time and your willingness to forward us information and places where some of the information comes from is really helpful for us to be able to see for ourselves. And we care a lot about this community, and these projects are substantial. And so I'm sure there'll be more questions and concerns, even from residents that may or may not watch this or hear about it and then want to, hey, they think of something. That's our job, is to hear those and be a part of that process. So
I would like to say something, Josh.
Go ahead.
And in response to, maybe within, say, 5 miles of the project, maybe something about sending out just a brochure or notification to the neighboring people that, hey, this project is here. Should anything happen, or you're notified that it's here and it's battery storage and this is what it's about, just to let them know it's there. I mean, and if an emergency happens, they are not surprised.
No,
That I would want the solar company to do.
Yeah, we'll talk with Sage about
I
that.
just shot a note to Sage.
Okay, thank you, Henry.
You have something? Nope. I got nothing else.
Thank
Thanks
you
for-
so much
thanks
for
for-
coming. I know you guys got a long trip back.
It's okay. We got something to do tomorrow morning here.
Oh.
So timed out really well for us, actually. So
Thank you so much for coming in.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you.
of course.
Appreciate your time.
Person.
Look forward to that information coming.
Yes, we got all the notes. And all our
Perfect.
follow-ups.
thank you.
Yep, appreciate it.
95%.
I have to send you something.
Sign them off. Huh?
Thanks, Henry, Jesse, and Connor. I appreciate it.
That's Lorelei.
Thank you.
Have a great night. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Sage will be the point of contact for anything.
Thank you.
Conduit.
And thank you very much. Mike Hargy has been in contact with Sagel, and I believe also with Paul, maybe.
I'm not on this project
Okay.
specifically, so I'm like this meeting. Sage will like work with me.
Okay,
Um,
so Mike Hargy is the fire chief that takes the lead because
Sure.
that is his area. But we do have other fire departments that respond, but
yes.
Mike is the lead and he notifies everybody else and gets everybody else on board.
Yeah,
So
we should have one kind of leader and then like their.
Yep.
policy that we work
that's how it works.
with. Perfect.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks again.
Thank you.
All right. Item number 5, information and updates from Recreation Ad Hoc Committee.
We met the day after our the last regular board meeting when they said that it was something that the town would be interested in doing, so we were gonna put more energy into it moving forward. So we did some discussion on contacting people and businesses, not businesses, but utilities and stuff. And so that's what we did. We divided up a big list of things that we wanted to do. So that was where we're at. We're contacting, we've talked to Rome a couple times. I was talking to him today again, about possibly where their trail would like to end up, where ours might want to begin, because we have to have a beginning point. We have an ending point. We do be Point Bass and through Domtar's property and the bridge. We're talking to the power utility line, Enbridge, the solar company, both of them, to see if there's we can have easement across any of their property on the edges of it or through it. And I talked to the county today again for the second time, and DNR, we've talked to them and sent a couple letters out to some private landowners that own some land across the Snowmobile Bridge that is private property, and to see if that might be a route we could take. Without their approval, we can't go that way. We'd have to go a different route, because we got to cross Timahoe Creek somewhere. So that's where we're at. We got a lot of people, a lot of questions, a lot of letters sent out, a lot of phone conversations and stuff like that. So I'm guessing it's going to be another 2 weeks before we get enough information to where we can kind of start moving forward on anything as far as trying to pick a route. And it possibly could be way longer than that. It just, I don't know how long it'll be. You know, if we wanted to maybe use some of Bembridge's property to run a trail down a little ways and across, that could be several months before they would give us the go ahead for that. And so this is going to be a long process to figure out where we can't go with it. And that's going to tell us where we can go with it. So it's going to be a long process, but once we figure out a couple different routes that are possible, then we're going to have someone who actually builds these. And I talked to Wood County is going to help with that, and Rome has already been through it once already. So we're going to have to get someone here to say this route would be financially better than this route, and because we don't go through this low area, or we don't have to go over so many driveways. People who do this for a living would be able to. So we might have to spend a little bit of money up front. A couple of the consultants I talked to, and were like between $1,500 and $2,000. They would come, spend a day, go through everything, and then give us back an estimate of a ballpark estimate how much it would cost to go this way, or if we went that way. So us being just normal people, we have no idea what's the best way. So we just feel that at some point we have to have some consultation so that we don't pick a route and it would be $200,000 cheaper if we'd have went this way. So at some point we're going to get to that, but we're way far away from that. So we're going to meet again here as soon as we get enough information to even have a meeting. We're going to meet together. We have a group email chat so that we can kind of keep up on where everybody's at. So it's just a long process getting back to people and having them get back to you on, because it's questions that they don't have the answer to. And but we do have the okay to go from one end of Point Bass to the other. And we're working on from Point Bass, the north end of it in the woods, to go through Domtar's property and get to the bridge without having to go on County Road C. That's being worked on. So, but it's like, again, Domtar, when you deal with them, it's just going to be a long process. And the guy you talk to at first can't say, yeah, that sounds good, let's do it. It's a chain of command and meetings, and so that's where we're at. That's it. We haven't spent any money yet.
All right.
Yeah, but you spend a lot of sweat and.
Yeah, it's been a lot. It's a lot of work.
That's you
But
and
it's-
Carl and two
Yeah.
community members so
Yeah.
far? 4
Yes.
people.
Yes, and we got another fella, Tim Mitchell. He has the bait shop in Rome.
Great guy.
And he's actually on the Discover Rome area family trails. He's on their board also. So anything that we talk about with ours, he already talks. And I've talked to her today. Again, we're just trying to find a starting point where it will be best for all of us. So.
But your group has done more work
Thank
in
you.
meetings.
Yes.
Yeah,
Hey,
that's
that's
been for years,
Yeah.
so it's just awesome.
Hopefully it works out. It's not a for sure thing yet. I mean, it's a long ways to go.
Yeah.
And,
And I'm sorry for not knowing the details from the last meeting. You probably said this, but the vision would be a paved walk or a gravel, or any options are on the table at this point.
Yes.
But something that's an improved trail,
yes, off the road.
off the road, walkable, bikeable, pets.
Yes,
I love it.
no ATVs or
Right,
UTVs
no motorized,
as of yet.
but snowshoeing and would be, or maybe not.
I don't know
But it sounds.
if it's going to be maintained in the winter, or we don't know yet, or how all that's going to
Maybe a
work.
section of it or something could be for that, suitable for that, but it really feels like the right type of thing for recreation in our specific community. That's like,
Well, and it can connect all.
Well, if I understand you correctly, Rob, it would be coming off of the bridge
Mhm.
in the Coosa
Yes,
and going.
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean,
Which,
going through Point Bass. I called Nick Karras. They're trying to get all of Nick Karras. He owns Cranberry Marsh. I'm trying to get maybe down through that area. We're trying to get it so that there's some points of interest.
sure.
As many as we can. Point Bass is a good one. The Cranberry Marsh would be a good one. it's gonna cross the pipeline somewhere. We're gonna have an informational thing saying you're riding your bike over 3 big pipes and here's how much crude oil goes through them each day and where it comes from, where it goes. Solar, I hope that they would help us out with
Yeah,
some information or
Right.
allowing us easement somewhere on their property. 10 Mile Creek, we have to cross it. We can have an information board on that. So we're just trying to make it as informational as we can rather than just ride from point A to point B. But
maybe we can utilize the snowmobile trail
that's where we're headed.
because there's nothing in the summer. It's UTVs cannot use it. It's just out there. The other thing I want to bring forward, every single year, Wood County puts out a rural economic development initiative. And one of the things it is promoting countywide recreational mapping to boost usage in tourism in Wood County. And it's up to $75,000 for a request, one request, but it's a matching. So if we can get other investors, and to match. And I have wrote a couple grants for this, and neither of them were good because they were for the sign and stuff they don't normally want to do. So they wanted to promote Wood County as an area of interest. That's the gist of the whole thing. And I think this would be just an excellent opportunity to.
Not only could you hit the recreation with some type of, grant writing with that, but you hit the cranberries and Point
Right.
Pass and all those areas of interest.
Well, that's what I would put that in the grant application, that it would be such a draw. Notably, Marshfield is one gets all these grants, and Pittsville. For some reason, I don't know if they just apply for so many, and they do. They apply for like 6 or 7 of them, and they typically get about half. But I think this would be an excellent place to utilize that.
And that's what
That grant.
Chad Schooley from the Parks and Rec, that's what he mentioned, that one
Yeah.
specifically, and one
Yeah.
other one that they do have money allocated for recreation and stuff, but
And Bill Lightman sits on the seed committee. In fact, he is the head of the seed committee, and he actually lives in Surrey.
and it might go past his, it might go across his property.
There you go.
So,
There we go. Yeah.
Letter's been sent.
no, he wouldn't have a choice to be on the road right away, so.
Yeah.
You moved the transfer site, right?
Yep.
Is that possible to use that for any kind of recreational activity?
Parking is what we had talked
Yeah,
about.
Maybe a trailhead where you can park and take your bike off the
Yeah.
back of the car.
Yeah, gotta have that.
Put a picnic table, a couple garbage cans. Well,
Well, whatever.
I want to stay away from garbage cans because we just don't want to hire somebody to empty garbage cans. But I have already talked to the gentleman who takes care of our lawn and our transfer site, or what are we calling it now? Recycling site. And he said, that wouldn't be such a bad thing to, once a week go out and empty a garbage can. So I think we could tie it in.
Well,
Just-
better to have a can than people leave garbage all over the.
I know that was my fear, but at the same token, I don't want to find garbage all along the trail from somebody opening a bag of chips and throwing out the wrapper either. I mean, there's,
Ski trail users are pretty.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what I was thinking.
and especially if we post signs that says, the $100 fine for littering. I mean, that's-
Or more on a positive, keep our
Yeah.
areas clean for both you
Yeah.
and.
You want to see wildlife? Don't litter.
You see a lot of signs like pack it in, pack it out.
Yeah. And,
And there's a lot of people that have used it, but there's probably more people that don't.
the only thing I can see is maybe a porta potty might be required at some point along the trail.
Yeah, we've definitely just talked about it today with Rome about if we start at Highway 13 and Adams Avenue, that we would like to put a bathroom in there of some sort or porta potty,
Well-
and then also at Point Bass.
Be good, too good.
The only thing is if we're going to use it in the wintertime for cross-country skiers, a porta potty maybe wouldn't work.
Well, construction guys do it all the
Yeah,
time.
they do.
Yeah.
They do. I was gonna say, you've got an expert,
I know,
it's got an
Yeah.
office right over there.
yeah.
Definitely.
I know she has them in the winter too, because she always talks about how
It
it's
gives you
hard to
incentive.
pump them in the winter because
Yes.
they have to freeze
Doesn't
water.
take as long.
We keep our camper out at the hunting lane until deer hunting season is over, and we just fill up the water tank with antifreeze, and we
Yeah,
use it.
that's what Billy Joel's is.
It
Okay.
works.
That was all I wanted to say. Thank you.
Yeah, and you're right, this is a long process, but you've got momentum and it hasn't slowed down yet, so.
This will be a couple of years.
We're all
Before we-
excited.
Yeah, but 2 meetings and you're further than
Right.
3
Yeah.
years.
That's good.
Right.
Yeah,
It's great. Yeah.
I'm just floored.
Yeah, you can't, you gotta keep your position. So this is going
Right.
I think this,
So both you guys said you want to stay, right?
Yes,
I did.
they did,
Okay.
they did. All right, anything else? Okay, moving on. Discussion of operations ordinance. I don't know how much discussion there is. I know you had inquiry about contacting, municipalities around.
Yep.
That was talked about earlier, Grand Rapids, Rome, Port Edwards, Nakusa, Grant, Plainfield, Clover. Is there anything else that we wanna follow up or talk about on that?
Did anybody see this article from, let's see, what was the date? March 31st. There's a little article about data centers in here. It doesn't say much, but at least they're getting some newsprint on it.
They are, yeah. I know that, I didn't see that article, but I know the state, are already investigating or looking into some type of regulations on data centers, and it's
Mhm.
also being pushed at the national level as well, because they are exploding all over and they are definitely damaging communities. So there is definitely a push to get on top of it, but
Yeah, and what's happened in
That's
so many of
possible.
these communities is they've come in and there's absolutely no discussion of it. The councils are signing off on it without any
Proper
public
procedure.
hearings or information, and it's like sitting here, there's nobody here.
right,
So I guess it's a twofold thing. The people aren't there to see it, and how many people go on and watch the videos,
right.
but the councils literally are just signing off on these things with no information, nothing. That's the big problem with, that Fort Washington and Beaver Dam, and they did.
Yeah, they had no clue
idea.
exactly what they were
The
getting
public
into.
had no input whatsoever.
I think it depends on the budget too. If you're hurting, you stretch out.
But most of them, they're giving the infrastructure. They're paying for all of that other stuff. It's not like with the solar system where they're paying
There's a kickback.
Right.
there's a kickback for the public itself, but it's costing all the municipalities, and it's literally destroying a lot of the water sources.
Well, I like what, when you brought this up, I mean, we have a plan in place where it can go. I like that idea. It's gotta go somewhere.
And
Having the proper plan is right.
And, luckily we did get that put in place. But, our community hasn't always been in front of the ball.
Right.
And so that's why I think it is so important that we did reach out to Grand Rapids and Port Edwards and the township of Port Edwards and now Plainfield. Plainfield just got hit with a proposal that they were blindsided with. I don't know if that was just a proposal or if the company had already bought in the land and it's going forward. But they were blindsided. So the more information we can give to those surrounding communities ahead of time, and as here, look what we've done, feel free to copy it, and look what we missed, make sure it's in your plan. Yeah, I just.
And part of it is too that they're coming in, Menominee had one coming in north of the interstate, and they came in and offered this farmer some ungodly money for his property. And when you're offered that, I mean,
Millions.
4 times the amount that you're even thinking about, I mean, the incentive is there. Man, I could,
Yeah.
you know, I'm stupid for not turning, you know, not doing it. you know.
That's generational wealth right there. for
Yeah.
them.
Yeah, he's struggling to make a living, not even making a living on his farm, and all of a sudden he can sell it for, like I said, 4 or 5 times more than he even thinks he would want it if he was selling it, you know, so.
And maybe not even know what he's selling it for.
Yeah, right,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah. Lord, like,
But, not- you know, they could say, we're gonna put this big data center, you wanna sell your land? You know, are you willing to sell your land? We'll buy it.
Lorelai, did you have actual discussions with those folks or just send out a?
Actually, I got responses from most of them. It says, well, this one was from, let's see, let me go back.
Rome is working on one. I did hear that today.
These are,
So we adapted this, right? This went through the board and everything.
Yeah.
Okay.
yeah.
Just making sure.
There was somebody that said that they were working on one, and
Knowing that we'll likely have to go in and alter it, refine it.
Right, we just want
Sure,
to.
to it, but we do have- It is something official on the books.
Okay.
I had conversations, but I can't remember. One of them said this was really good because we were looking at doing this ourselves. I thought it was Plainfield after you said that, but I don't see it.
I'm
on-
just
on
glad
my list.
that it's on their radar and any assistance that we can get, that makes it awesome.
I would like to send all of you guys this email that I got. It's not an email, actually. It's 2 gentlemen talking about data facilities, and it's kind of a spoof on them, but it's got one gentleman saying, yeah, let's go in here and we'll tell them this, but in actuality, we mean this. And it's a conversation back and forth, but it brings forward the points that may not have been brought forward before until we started investigating. So if anybody would like to see this skit, I found it very funny but enlightening because it was all true. It's just that what you're hearing is not necessarily what is actual.
Yep.
So if anybody wants to see this, I'll be glad to share it with you because I found it very,
Yeah, feel free to send it my way.
Is that something you can forward
yes,
to me in an email?
I can.
Send it out?
I'll send it to you right now.
We'll learn something in a funny way.
Yeah, it is
Sometimes
really.
the satire and parody is
Yeah.
one of the. That's how stuff sticks. That's how you can.
That's how I prefer to learn.
Double-minded. I know exactly.
I try to use it as much as I can.
There's some.
Well, it's just like any salesman. They're here to tell you how beautiful the manure smells. You know.
I
But
just
still, I think there's companies.
I just shared it with you, John.
Okay.
On both ends of that
At least I think I
There is a Wisconsin comedian, Charlie, I can't think of his last
Barron's.
name.
Barron's.
Oh, yeah.
He's going to all kinds of meetings.
He is.
In Port
He's
Washington,
gonna end up in politics
he's
pretty
the
quick
one
here.
that got the whole ball
Yep.
rolling in Port
He-
Washington.
I watched
Has a
this.
funny spin on it,
It
but
does.
he's serious. He's.
I wonder if that's who this is.
It very well could be. I've seen some of his stuff.
Yeah, it's good.
And he has a following where it's.
Oh yeah,
he's
he
making
comes to
people
Rapids,
aware
it
of
gets
the
sold out
situation.
every time. He's got people's attention.
Yeah, as soon as I get that, I'll forward it off to everybody.
Okay, thank you.
All right, anything else on 6? Moving on to item number 7, town building update. Do we have anything that you want to add?
Oh, I'm
You
sorry.
as well?
Yes, Chris. Have anyone seen the website where I sent the letter out? I'm hoping that you have.
The letter,
Okay. So the
To
last
Tom?
time that we talked, it was advised to write a letter to the citizens and put it on our
Oh,
Facebook
yeah, I've
page.
seen that.
So I'll read it here if you want. Attention, valued citizens of the town of Saratoga. At the annual meeting on April 21st, 2026, the town of Saratoga Town Board will be asking for your support to build a new public works building and remodel the existing town hall, making it more energy efficient. Additionally, to include office and storage space. This project has been a point of discussion throughout the years, but lacked commitment due to funding. Due diligence was done to ascertain if new construction or remodeling was in the best interest of the town of Saratoga. The funds that will be utilized will come from shared revenue we receive from the existing and future solar arrays in lieu of real estate taxes, because that's what the shared revenue is for. We currently receive $338,836.25 a year for 25 years, guaranteed, for the first solar array. That's the Wood County Solar. And we'll receive the same, guaranteed, for the second solar array, the Saratoga Solar Array. Currently, the first solar array funds are allocated to road work exclusively, as we are behind in scheduled road work due to previous legal fees involving a CAFL. The proposal to all citizens is to allocate for the first 15 years approximately $288,000 per year of the second $338,836.25 received from the second solar, the Saratoga Solar Array, to pay for the construction, totaling approximately $3 million. We are asking for your support in this endeavor. This is not a referendum, as it will not raise the tax levy. However, in the interest of full disclosure, we cannot guarantee taxes will not raise, as we cannot control the school taxes or ambulance and fire coverage costs. We can only control the cost of operating the town of Saratoga. We look forward to your input on April 21st, 2026. This is your town. You have the right to express your desires for the use of this money. We will continue to serve you as you desire. The excess funds will continue to go to roads or equipment or other infrastructure. Let your voice be heard. Can't attend? Call and let me help answer your questions. Should you like a tour of the facilities before April meeting, please call in advance. Sincerely, Lorelei Fear, Chairman. My phone number and then my email address. And I have gotten calls.
Yeah. Yes.
Not for tours, just answer questions like, how come you didn't just give us the money on our taxes?
Mhm.
And if we did that, which we cannot do by law, but just so you know, if we did that, it would amount to about $50 per
Resident?
parcel.
Oh,
We can't figure it per acre, but that's about how it is. We figured it per tax paying parcel. So I guess I can't ask for your input because it's already out there, but that's how it is.
Of the calls you've got, percentage, positive to negative?
Just inquiry. And once they have their answers, they're like, okay. And then I ask them, would you like to come and tour the buildings? I will come anytime you'd like. No, that's okay. So I guess,
And that's the 21st, right?
the 21st, yeah.
At what time?
6 o'clock is the meeting, right?
6 or 7, I don't know.
Oh,
No.
I'll tell you, just a second.
I thought it was 6.
It's come early.
Mhm.
You don't get
Why
trouble
is it
places,
not on
so.
our website? I mean, why is it not? The calendar.
There you go.
Yeah.
Oh,
Annual meeting, 6 p.m.
6.
on Tuesday the 21st.
Yeah.
It is on our.
Yeah, it
website.
is 6 p.m. and then at town board meeting is at 6 p.m. also. Something's it will start after the annual meeting concludes.
Correct.
So,
We got a board meeting that night too?
yes, we meet the board meeting the same night.
Well, you're not meeting next week then.
No.
And the reason I asked for positive and what your ratio was positive and negative is because I've gotten some calls, mainly inquiries, just
Yeah.
what's this all about?
Yeah.
Why are we doing it like this?
Well,
Do
actually,
we even need a building? You
Yeah.
know, like, and I've said the same thing. Come look at it. Like,
Yeah.
if you don't think it needs to be updated.
to be honest, I did get a negative conversation. It was with my brother. But he said, if we add more offices, we're going to hire more people. I said, no, we're not. He said, yes, we are. I said, I'm telling you, we're not. But he said he doesn't know that he feels that if we add more offices, that we would be hiring more people. And
but isn't our vision supposed to be 75 years in the future? That's
Yeah.
possible.
yeah, and actually, I did explain to him that the person that I foresee being full time would be that deputy clerk, or what we're calling an administrative assistant, because she can answer who does what. And that's all you need to answer to the citizens is, who can help me? And she'll point them to the right person. And we all have cell phones now. And so,
Which makes it a lot better for residents.
Yeah.
Because we don't have to be in this building to take a call for the town.
Right.
And we have our, not our personal numbers, but our town designated number that we can take those calls. However, a central person to call and have somebody answer right away.
That's just good service.
Oh yeah, it
Well,
goes a long way.
well, I told him to stay home.
So on the,
part of it is too with your deputy clerk. She's appointed. Now you can tell her to work
Yeah.
4 hours a day, 3 days a week, where Paulette, you have no authority to tell her she has to work any hours.
And the deputy clerk, her title is actually deputy clerk / administrative assistant. And the purpose of that was so that the plan commission could utilize her and I could utilize
Or
her
more, yeah.
without going through Paulette.
But still, like I
Yeah.
said, you
Yep.
can tell her that, okay, you
You're
get
right.
paid X number of dollars and this is the hours that you have to
Yeah.
work.
so on the 21st, or is the board, not us, is the board going to have a display for people to look at to see like
Yep,
this is
already made.
tentatively what we're looking for?
Already
Perfect.
made.
That's
We had an
you
easel
know that's
and
what
we
they're gonna
had
wanna look at.
the plans blown up in point staples, and
Sure.
they're on poster boards. Yeah. The thing is that I would rather not have any of the plan commission members. I mean, this is me personally, so please don't take this to heart. Say, yes, I think we should go through with this. I think we should do this. And I don't want my brothers to do that either. I don't want it to be something that's, oh, you're only doing it because you stacked the room. I've said that myself with previous administrations, so I don't want to hear it. And it's not that we can't go ahead with it even without that, because this is not a referendum. We can do it. We don't need the permission of the town's residents. But I think we want the town residents to be behind us.
We work for them.
Right. So, I mean, that's my own feelings, and I don't know how you guys feel, but I know we're all for it. I know we see the reasons behind it, and I'm hoping the community will too. But based on the 2 referendums that passed, I don't think this is going to be a problem, because those referendums passed without even people knowing where that money was going. So I don't know how this would not. But regardless, we're going to do what the people want, not what we want. So.
Speaking of the referendums, just curiosity on my side, anybody here go to the Nakusa or Wisconsin Rapids open house, public hearings or whatever on the referendum?
I just talked to 2 of the board members. I didn't go to a referendum.
I did not, because I didn't want to put myself in that position.
Well, I'm just, because
Yeah.
when the first one came in, actually it was, Brian Geezy literally came here and presented the referendum to the town board. And, they went around to all of the communities and said, this is what we need. This is what we want to do. This is the way it is. I mean, they had a track that couldn't be used because nobody put a dime into it. And now this one came out. Yeah, they had maybe 3 or 4 at Rome Library or whatever.
Yep, they had meetings.
And, they did have meetings, but to me, they didn't come here to talk to us that we could go out and tell our people about it.
Yeah.
One of the problems with that is the administration there now is not like it was when Brian Geezy went around and promoted it,
Well, and another thing, I don't know that they were specific of what the use of the money was for. I mean, if it would have been a little more specific, it would have been easier to to say yes or no, but this was kind of general for both. But still, there were tons of them all over the state, and most of them got passed. So
I want
people
to
know.
jump back on track with the buildings and this annual meeting coming up, and what we've had lots of discussions, spent a lot of hours on, because it's where that process had to start.
Yep.
Was at this body, and I think the plan that we put together is really thoughtful and really careful and good quality discernment of the funds allocate. All of it, I think, is really well thought out. So you have this annual meeting, and you just stated that, you know, we work for the town, we work for the people, we're going to do what the town wants. Hypothetically, annual meeting, 50 people show up, and they all say no. Where does that put us? Are we going to get at that annual meeting? Are we going to get the why behind the no? Because a no without a why is not a no to me. That's just something, you know.
That do 50 people represent the town?
And you mentioned,
Right.
well, not necessarily, but
I know.
but how do you argue with the 50 people that allowed
so
the
well.
squeaky wheels?
Right.
You know, I would. So
I know.
you're saying you don't want the input from this body,
I don't say I don't want the input.
but you don't want the decision to be driven by
Right.
this body. So if the feedback is overwhelmingly negative, is that in that annual meeting, is there going to be a voice or two that is not afraid to address, to take it, to not just let no be no,
Right.
but why is it no? What are the concerns? What are the alternatives? What are you don't get to present a problem without having an idea for a solution. Otherwise you're just a complainer, right? So we know that these buildings need to be addressed. We know the condition of the
Right.
current town hall. We know the cost of tearing it all down and starting
Right.
new. We know that's not practical to this town. Like, that wouldn't have been well received, right? This is half the cost, if not 40% of the cost of what tearing down. Don't I have numbers in my head from
You do.
$6, $7, $8 million
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
the same amount of finished
Absolutely.
usable space?
Yeah.
So I guess I'm just thinking, as you know, that what if voice, you know, I don't want to get overzealous or overconfident that this is a done deal. If we're saying we work for the town, we're saying we could do it anyways if we wanted.
Yeah.
I don't know I truly don't know what the sentiment of that night will be. I think any reasonable person that cares about the future of Saratoga would understand the importance of investing in the buildings. It's not like we have some grand campus it's not like we built some $15 million facility and and now we're asking for more. I mean, this town's done a lot with less than other towns have, and we're a big town with a sizable population. And so I don't know. I'll get off my soapbox and
No.
Well, and Lorelei, I disagree with you
Okay.
a bit on this one. I agree that we should all attend that meeting and push it here in the meeting. But I think as the people that have been researching it and looking at it and knowing what the buildings look like, that we should, if we support it, should be publicly letting people know that this is all the time and
I agree.
and work that has gone into it, and encouraging people to come to the meeting. I understand you don't want us all sitting in the audience making motions.
Right.
But
Right.
I do think if you are a member of this board that does promote the plan, we should be speaking about it very highly and encouraging attendance.
I was just going to say, I agree with that completely. If you know that
Yeah.
there's somebody in the community that cares about Saratoga and understands these buildings, but isn't part of this specific body, they should go to that meeting. And they should, I mean, if they're willing to, say how they feel. And so if you know a person like that, one or two people that are willing to be there, and I think that's valuable, because there was a lot of time and energy put into this, and you don't do anything. If you don't do anything now and you don't do anything in the near future, you're going to end up with a bigger problem,
Right.
You're going to have less options and less reasonable cost options. Even just in general, waiting will have a cost.
It never gets cheaper.
You know?
I can imagine a lot of people may have seen that message that you wrote, and they can understand it by reading it, but don't realize all the hoops that we have investigated and looked through. And I think that's the piece that I would like to share with people, that we have been looking at this for months. We have investigated other options. And, you know, this is the final plan, and now it's up to you folks to come in and tell us yay or nay.
And I hope you're not misunderstanding me, because I support this project 180%. I mean, I don't think there's a better time. I don't think there's a better way. I think if we don't do it now, I don't know that we'll ever be able to
Right.
do it. These buildings are past their life. They, we have the money without raising the tax levy.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
That's the key.
That is the key.
That's the
we
key.
have,
Yeah, we have the
Opportunity
available
with the
funds
money.
to do that.
yeah.
I just don't think we should shy away from promoting it.
I'm not,
Right.
I'm not saying I don't want to promote it. I'm just saying that I want it to be, you know, I don't know how to say it.
You want the support to come from the
The
residents,
people, yeah,
not from
right,
me.
right.
Like
Well,
I don't.
I
you
want to
don't
know
want me
that they're
to make the
listening
most.
and they care and they
Yeah.
do support it. I don't want it to be me telling them, hey, this is what we got to do. I mean, I am going to tell them that. Every question that comes up, I hope I have an answer for, because I've been keeping a notebook of answers to questions.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, so I just wanted to make sure,
Yeah.
because I do want to post about it and encourage people to
I-
get here and let them know the background work that we did.
For sure.
But then, yeah, but if I come or if I watch, I will remain silent and let the residents do their thing. But I don't think they have enough of the background to realize how much work has gone into it, and I think they should.
And to go on that, they saw many residents that I've talked to saw that number and was like, that's a lot of money.
Yeah.
What you brought up a great point. It started at 7.5 million, and we've got it down to where
Right.
it's actually
Mhm.
in the budget. I mean, it's within our means.
Yeah, it's within our grasp.
Right.
I couldn't put, there was a lot lot of things I wanted to
Right.
put in that letter, but it got too wordy. Too much information sometimes kills it.
Correct.
And
Yeah,
I
a
thought,
longer letter, you'd have lost interest in people.
Right.
Josh, I don't think a lot of people realize what your operating budget really is. Overall, we're not running a household, we're running a township.
No,
Right.
and you can't build a regular average single family home for 150K like you used to or whatever. I mean, the reality is the numbers have changed and they're not, and like you said, they don't get cheaper.
Yeah.
Relative to other, I mean, look up any municipal facility and dig into the weeds of what it costs. You're going to see numbers far beyond 3 million.
oh,
You're going to see 8, 12, 15, 20. It doesn't take long.
Right.
So
just,
this is a very reasonable project compared to a lot
We
of.
just have to cross the next bridge as it comes.
and our eyes are open. I mean, that's what I want the people to know. We didn't do this in 6 months or a year.
No,
Right.
It's been
all the
years.
different departments have been,
Yeah,
all their input has been gathered, all the needs assessments were done, all the space, I mean, this gone through a dozen different iterations or more. It's just, yeah. So we all know what we know and we probably don't need to spend any more time really on it, but
But this has been this township has been totally financially responsible.
I think so.
I mean, this town doesn't borrow money for the roads. It
No.
never has. And that's how municipalities get by nowadays. So, that's kudos to this township and the management of it to not have that burden over our heads of always having to borrow to do things. This you have to. But again, you have the money. I mean, we have the income coming in,
Yeah.
and it's the right thing to do.
And I'd like to do it before I'm gone. I mean, before we're all gone. I'd like to, get that jump start in there and show the people what can be done for the town of Saratoga if everybody cares enough. And I think we all do.
Right.
But, yeah.
One of the few, I had several things, but one of them pertains to this town buildings. I did get a few calls and there was a request for blown up blueprints, plans, site plans,
They're up there.
numbers,
Mhm.
stuff like that. So I'm glad to hear that that's all.
Yep.
That's all planned on display at the annual meeting.
Yeah.
And we decided we're having it over there,
Yep.
correct? Because then we can point to where
Yeah.
we're physically in the building that we plan on
I got
changing, making better. So
timelines,
I'm glad you said that.
costs,
Right.
Everything, what we've worked on. So,
any other town building update discussion?
I'm nervous.
We won't make you do all the talking.
Oh, gosh.
Rob will help.
I did all the talking tonight. I'm sorry.
You're good.
All right, so number 8's taken care of. Information and announcements from planning commission members. I might have the most today, so I'll start. Two announcements that it was asked that I make is our new truck, our new patrol truck, haul truck is here. It's not, we haven't used it on the town roads yet, but it is getting, it's identifying decals installed on it and is ready to work when we want it to. So it's here in our possession and
And
Right.
hopefully you don't have to use it anymore this year.
right. Hopefully we don't have to. Hopefully we
Thank
don't have to wear any paint off the plow anymore this year or this season.
Yeah.
And then another announcement is we have combined our brush site and our transfer site together as one site now. It's
Called the collection site.
It's called the collection site now. It's at 12799 Hollywood Road, the site of our brush site. It's open the second and last Saturday of the month, correct?
Yep.
Starting this month through October.
Yep.
And so before they were altered,
Right.
alternated transfer site and brush site.
And only open 4 hours
So now they're open together on the same day
for 6 hours.
for 6 hours. So
From when to when?
8 to 2.
Another fiscally responsible move.
There you go.
I hope so. I think so.
all right, those are the two announcements. I had a resident call me concerned about the amount of camping that was done at the club on Ranger Road last year.
The gun club?
Yeah, the gun club. There was a bunch of campers
Heard
there
of
this last
They're
year.
only there during the day, aren't they?
Hmm?
Aren't they only there during the day? Do they camp at night?
I was told that they were camping there for an
Okay.
extended period of time,
I'll
and
check that out.
it's that season. Weather's getting nice. People are getting their campers back out, and he's concerned that he doesn't want it to continue this year.
Okay.
So, I told him we keep an eye on it and address any concerns if we need to.
I'll have to check the history of what the
Right.
town allowed for that place.
I don't think they've ever, the years that I've been on the board, there was never any
Camping?
discussion
Oh.
about that.
Okay.
I mean, it might be something that's happened recently and maybe the organization doesn't even know about it.
Okay.
So I don't know who is president of the organization or treasurer or whatever.
I do know they have that big weekend every year,
I'll follow up.
and there's, I guess I would expect some sort of
Yeah, right.
extended hangout maybe for that weekend, but we also allow that in our at a resident. You could have somebody come over and stay in a camper over the weekend at your house, So I could see a weekend, but I guess it was an extended stay.
Sustained, yeah.
So
Week after week after.
right.
Okay.
So for the majority of the summer, it sounded like.
Mild. Josh, real quick, just to make sure my minutes are accurate, the combined brush and transfer site, what was the name? The collection site?
Collection site, yep.
Thank you.
All right. Yeah. Okay. And then 3 different residents since our last meeting have contacted me about, you're not gonna like the storage containers. They want to know if they can have storage containers on their property. Or the town doesn't allow it, an ordinance against it. And I was asked by all three separate people. They weren't ganging up on me. They weren't in cahoots. They weren't ganging up on me to try to work together, All 3 of them did say, why? Like, it's my land. Why can't I do this? I bought this land. So I gave him the best answer I could, which was we have an ordinance against it. It was abused in the past, and we had to do something about it before it got out of hand. So it's probably going to be something that we end up discussing again at this level. So that's a
We probably should.
Right.
If you're having questions about.
there's plenty of people that
Want to,
want them, yes.
and we have a business that promotes them on the highway.
And that was kind of how it started, right? I mean, when the
Do they decommission them and get rid of older ones and kind of sell them, or what's the? I don't understand how that. Or isn't that a rental as needed type
I
service?
don't know the history of,
long term?
but I know that, like, we require a permit from the storage container company, right?
Nope, not
Nope,
anymore.
not
We
anymore. We
require
did?
it from the person who wants to bring one onto their property
it's
can only do
temporary.
it for 3 reasons, correct?
Moves,
Building,
hazards, or like natural disaster destruction type stuff,
Yeah.
fires and whatnot.
and
New construction and and location changes, moves.
Right.
Which are all 3 very reasonable reasons to use a storage container, but I mean, it's very, very popular online. Construction with storage
Mhm.
containers is very popular online.
But there's a difference of having them look nice within your property than putting them next to your neighbor and having it get all rotted and yucky and.
And the
weeds growing all
reason-
over it.
the main reason that people want them are because you can buy one for $250 and a storage building or building a garage or getting one of those Quonset huts or whatever. They're always more than that. So these are an easy, quick fix that they can haul them in and now they got a storage container.
They're also rodent type.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was down at the campground.
Yeah.
That was his primary reason is
And he
he
put it in
wanted his floatables at some place where they weren't gonna get
Chewed up.
ate up.
Mhm.
he
that
put it
was-
inside a building.
Put the storage container inside the building.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
So
I almost
we have
got fired
storage.
one time when I let somebody put one on their property and build a cabin around it. And that's exactly what they did. And he's actually my neighbor now.